everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge, and welcome to the second of like 2 haul videos that I'm doing in a row because I needed to split up my physical haul and my ebook haul. I don't do the ebook and Kindle haul very often just because I don't purchase a ton of them, not the amount that I buy of physical books. I do read a lot of ebooks, but they're usually Kindle Unlimited or e-arcs, so they're not ones that I've actually picked out to keep. But I usually end up finding a lot of deals. I like when there's like the daily deals or the recommended for you, as well as my friend Izzy. She made a video recently about ways to find cheap ebooks, and I may have went a little bit nutso with that and got a bunch of them. So the ebooks that I'm sharing today are all of the ones that I purchased from August and September, and so I just wanted to kind of go quick over those with you just in case maybe you're interested. I can't promise that any of these are still on sale. I didn't even buy all of them when they were on sale. So let's go ahead and we'll start back all the way in August, and I'll tell you if I've read it or not. But the ones I haven't read, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about because I want to get through these. So the first one that I bought in August was Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. I bought this for August, which was the summer fling. I still didn't end up reading it yet. I'm ashamed of myself. Yes, I know, and I want to get to it eventually. But I know that it's a pretty emotional one. It's friends to lovers, and I just haven't been in the mood for that yet. Then I bought Big Ben. I got this one for free. This is by Nana Malone, and I actually have it on my TBR for the Kindle Clear Out Readathon, so hopefully I will have already read it by the time you're seeing this video. But I also can't remember what I was trying to read this one for. I think I tried to read this one for Summer Fling as well, because I bought a couple books already in here for Summer Fling, but I just didn't get to it. I just wasn't feeling the vibe at the time, but this one looks pretty fun. I know that it starts off with a heist, and our hero is like trying to get revenge for some things that happened to him maybe, and it seemed cool. And I heard that it was really good by Katie Robert recommended this, and also I heard about it on Fated Mates, so I was like, might as well have it in there. And I'd like to read something by Nana Malone. I've heard good things about her too. Then I purchased a copy of Branded by Fire because when I didn't own a physical copy of this yet. This is book 6 in the Side Changeling. Sorry if you don't know what I'm looking at. I have my computer is behind this and I'm going through my list instead of, because I film on my phone, so I can't have my library up on my phone. So that's why I'll be looking just to the left of you the whole time. Sorry. Yep, so this was good. Read this. I liked Branded by Fire. It was one I liked a lot because this one is a snow dancer and a dark river. So it's a leopard changeling and a wolf changeling together, and it was really good. And then I bought a copy of Kiss of Snow, which I also now have a physical copy of. This is book 10 in the Side Changeling. And it was delicious. Both of those I had to buy for full price, by the way. They didn't have a sale. Then I bought Radiance by Grace Draven, and I've been hearing about this book. All my friends who love romantic fantasy, all my friends who love Friends to Lovers say that they love this. This is a slow burn Friends to Lovers. It's a fantasy romance. I plan to get to this one soon. In fact, I just had it on my started reading on my Goodreads, and then I took it back off to do some other things, but I want to read this really soon. I think it has to do with they're making an alliance between the two species, and both species find the other one unattractive, and so it really is like a friend first, and then they start to find each other attractive, and I just love that. I love the metaphor of it. I love the actuality of it. I just think there's so much good that story has going on, and so I definitely want to get to that one. Then I have the first 3 books in this series that I bought. This is Club Shadowlands. This is the first book in the Master of the Shadowlands series. So this first one I got for free. This is by Cherise Sinclair. I had asked back in August, I asked on a Facebook group I'm a part of for people to show me BDSM books that have really great representation of the community. So not just kinky and fun, but like explanation of the kink, of the rules, heroes who follow the rules and heroines who follow the rules, set it up, and just I wanted to see that communication. And so this is about a club, and the first one is more of a novella. It's pretty short, and it's about the owner finding his submissive. She ends up stumbling in there, and he kind of a little bit tricks her into things, but not, because I mean this is still, like I said, these are full of consent all the way through, but he kind of sweet talks her into it, and they end up working. Do any of you have these like stupid layers? I hate how it looks today. So I did that one, and then the second one is Dark Citadel, and the third one is Breaking Free, and I read the first 3. There's like 15 in this series, so I enjoyed the 3 that I read, but you have to buy all of them. And once I read 3 of them and saw that they were basically the same, all really great. And I think something to do with that series is like once you read the novella and you understand the world, you can kind of go through the list and see which trope that's going on that you like. So I like that about the world that was introduced, because you don't have to read all 15 of them. You could pick, or if you read and you get introduced to some characters and you're like, ooh, I want to read about that dominant and submissive pair, you could skip to that one and not like miss anything. But it was really great, and it did do what I wanted it to do. I just didn't need to keep purchasing the series. So then I bought The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloane. This is book 2 in the Nashville Neighborhood series, which I love. These, so far, both of them have been pretty big age gaps. But this one is an older woman, younger man, and it is her best friend's son, and he's her pool boy. And I loved it. This was 5 out of 5 stars. Most of Nikki Sloane's books are 5 out of 5 stars for me. I have found very few situations where she is not a 5-star lady for me. So yeah, I just love her books. She's pretty much an instant buy. I think I have now read everything she's done, and now I'm getting physical copies of everything too. Then I got Hate Fuck, which is number 1 in the Forbidden Bodyguard series. So I had actually already read number 2, which was called, I can't remember what the second one was called, but I'd read the second one. Oh, Booty Call. The second one was called Booty Call, and it was about different characters in this series, and it was an age gap, so that's why I had read that one separately. This one is what it says. It's a bodyguard romance, but he's not her bodyguard, I don't think. I can't remember the details exactly, but Ainsley Booth writes really steamy, really fun. This one I got for free. It's the first one in the series. I think it's still free. A lot of authors will do that, make the first one that, and then, So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Then I have Sempre and Sempre Redemption. So these were splurges for me, okay? I was very excited to read this. I've had this on a list forever. I talked more about this in my Mafia recommendation video I just did. But it was $15 because this isn't a, Kindle Unlimited or, ebook buy. This is, a book that you can get it in regular form, so it doesn't have a Kindle price on it. But this was Twilight fan fiction when it was first conceived, and I love it because the author is really honest about that, and the way that the symbolism, the comparisons are in there is really beautiful to me. It's nothing as overt or hit you over the head, but you can find those subtle references. And to me, it was a lot of the best parts about Twilight, the angst and the danger, because it's basically making the Volturi the mob, and the character who would represent Edward is literally needs to protect her. And it's not just, oh, you're vampires, you can protect anyone. It's no, if we mess up, they'll take you from me and kill you to fuck with me. And so it was really good. These, actually, I would call them new adult or even a hard YA. I wouldn't call them YA just because of the content. Because in these books, you're dealing with slavery. Our main character, she is a household slave. in current times, she's a slave to the mafia. She's actually the daughter of a slave, too. She's a second generation slave. And so there's that. There is violence talked about. I don't remember. There's like assault mentioned, but not like shown. I don't think anyone gets assaulted. But both Sempre and Sempre Redemption were really beautiful. I listened to them on Kindle Unlimited, and I like bought a copy along with it. And I'm really happy I did. I want to get real copies. Then I bought Man Card by Sarina Bowen and Tanya Ebby. This is book 2 in the Man Hands book. So basically, whenever Sarina Bowen sends me an email that she has one of her books for free, I buy it. I haven't read this series yet because I haven't read the first one. And with Sarina Bowen, her series usually build on each other pretty nice, so I didn't want to skip ahead to this one. But I wanted to buy it while it was free because, you know, she kind of rotates through which of her books are free. And I just love Sarina Bowen, so I don't even know what this one's about. I just grabbed it, so I don't have an answer for what that one's about. Then I bought Haven, the first book in Beards and Bondage series by Rebekah Weatherspoon. I had to buy this one for full price, but I have been waiting to read this book for a while. And again, I was going through and reading BDSM books that I really liked, and this one has been recommended quite often. It has quite a hard beginning to get through because the way that our characters meet is that the heroine is on a camping trip with her brother and they get attacked by 2 men. Her brother is murdered and they are trying to rape her and kill her, and she's able to escape and she runs to this guy's house. He lives up in the mountains a little ways, and he lands on her doorstep and he has to make a split decision. It's very clear what's happening to her, and he shoots and kills this guy who he soon finds out killed her brother, but it's very clear that the guy's attacking her because she's bloodied, and it's just very clear what's going on. And so he ends up taking her down to the hospital, then has to kind of withstand the scrutiny of is he the one who hurt her? Is he, did he kill her brother? And so she is, a little too frazzled immediately to explain what went on. So they go through that, and then it's been months, and she's trying to get closure, but also she can't stop thinking about him because there was just something about him that kind of drew her to him, and she wants to go back and see him and see if it's just a savior complex or if there could be something more between them. So I loved it. I really did. I wish it had been longer. I want to continue that series for sure because I believe one of them is a menage. I think it is, and I want it. I picked up Fallen Crest High by Tijan. I've heard lots of great stuff about it. I believe it is a high school bully romance, but then becomes a stepbrother romance, and it's a lot of books in the series, which I usually like that. But I heard that it starts off pretty vanilla, and I just wasn't in the mood for vanilla at the time. I was I just want them to bang sooner, and it didn't seem like they were going to right away, so I was But I have it. I got it for $0, so I was I'll just add it to the bank and maybe I'll pick it up one day. I picked up Undeniable by Madeline Sheehan. So I don't know what this one is about or why I picked it up. I think that it's Mafia, but I got it for only 99 cents and someone recommended it. So that's what happens when you just pick up books on a whim you don't always know. This one I know why I got, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. But so this is A Shot of Sin by Eden Summers. I picked this up because I follow her on Book Talk, and she was doing a thing where any of her followers who found out about could get the book for $0. So I picked it up. I only made it 80% in because the story I wasn't a fan of. It was a kink club, and he was trying to convince someone to scene with him, and it was just a fucking tease. They never got to the point until the last page, and I wasn't into it. Then I bought Act Your Age by Eve Dangerfield. This is an age gap daddy kink book. And it's one where they really set up their relationship, which I liked. But the story didn't have a satisfying conclusion to me, and that became even more clear when I purchased the follow-up, which was called Not Your Shoe Size, and it had been like 5 years in the relationship and it like wasn't going anywhere. And I mean, that's the point, is that it wasn't going anywhere, but that's not satisfying romance to me. I know that's real life sometimes. Like, the female didn't want to be married and have kids, and he's like, I want that. Like, are we going to be at that or not? And I'm just not a fan. Like, for some people, children and marriage isn't a happily ever after. For me, it is, because we all have our own happily ever afters. And with relationships, I'm not saying like kids have to be the part of it, but to me, like, marriage is showing the commitment. That's why I love, even in menages or polyamory, where like people will have a ceremony or something where they're promising to stay together. And yeah, it's all symbolism, because you can get a divorce, you can break. I understand. But side rant, for me, a happily ever after is making the long-term commitment to be together. Like, that's what it is for me. That's my fantasy. Then I purchased Transcendence by Shay Savage. Yep, I love this book. It broke me. This is about a caveman. This is the hero POV the entire time through the book. And it's a time traveler romance, but it's from the point of view of the caveman who finds her. And you, as someone who's from the 21st century, is able to like figure out what's going on. But yeah, it was really interesting. It was just so good. It's so hard to describe, because I listened to 5, 6, 7 of my friends read this book and explain it and just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I listened to Smart Women Read Romance, a podcast by Jessin and Juliet. And they so I listened to all the spoilers for the book, because I don't mind spoilers. And then I understood what was going on in this story. But I needed all of the spoilers to understand, and not everyone's going to want that, which is understandable. But it convinced me to get it, and I'm glad that I did, because I cried. And even still thinking about it and how it ended and how it brought everything together, I cried, because it's amazing. And then there was a short little novella that is from the female's point of view. So now we get to see where she came from, how she got there, and it shows some of the most important moments of the series from her point of view. But it's only 100 pages long, and oh my god, it was so good. That story wraps up and fits together really nicely, but I wish it had been even more. I want more. It was amazing. So then I read Good and Better by S Walden. And so this is one I've had on my TBR forever, but I hadn't bought it yet. And so I was going through my TBR to scoop up some books to read. So I grabbed it. And this one is a student-teacher romance. There's a 10-year age gap. The girl has been she made a pretty big mistake where she did drugs and was with a group of kids when they robbed a convenience store. And so she had to do community service during her summers, and her parents don't really trust her, and she is just treated horribly now. She's from a very conservative town, and everyone's just really judgy of her, and so she's not in a great place. And then she meets this guy when she's doing community service, and it turns out to be her math teacher. And this hit some certain spots for me, because I was in love with my math teacher when I was in 9th and 10th grade. And funny story, him and his wife are we're friends now. We have been friends since I graduated high school. Because he was only, he started at our school when he was only 22. So he's only 8 years older than us. And anyway, story time over. But this really spoke to teenage Jen, who was in love with her math teacher. And this is a very interesting book, because it really is kind of him pursuing her a little more than her going after him. And I don't usually like that. If there's going to be a student-teacher relationship, I really like when the woman pushes it, when the girl pushes it, because I just like it better when a girl is so tempting she makes a man break, more than him kind of encouraging it. But it ended up working for me a lot, because between Good and Better, we spend about 4 years with this couple. So it starts when she is not quite 18, almost 18, and nothing sexual, but the interest in the relationship starts when she's 17. But it goes throughout what the consequences of this really would be. And so that's what was so interesting to me, is because it doesn't just end with an HEA and being like, oh, they're going to make a go of it and it's going to work. No, it shows that there's a lot of drama that they're carrying and how they deal with it. And it was great. It was great. So then I bought Untouchable by Sam Mariano. I first read this on Kindle Unlimited. Then I purchased an ebook because I wanted to keep it. And then I bought a physical copy. So you will have seen this in my physical haul and in my e-haul because I am obsessed with Carter Mahoney and he is a psychopathic dreamboat and I love him. And I've reread that book and parts of that book constantly since I've gotten it because it's just fascinating. And Sam Mariano really wrote an amazing book. And it led me down the rabbit hole of her. Most of her books are on KU, but the one that I had to purchase was Old Flame, which is book 9 in the Morelli family. And good for her. If you've read the other 8 books in her series and you love them, you can buy this one. It was only $3.99, and it's kind of like a pivot point because we've seen Dante in the story, and you should have read the other books before you read this one. But it does go back and overlap some time that we've seen, and I really like that. Sam Mariano really messes around with time in that series, and it's very interesting. But that was good. Then I got Filthy. Nope, that's a Kindle Unlimited. That says Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. Here we go. Heartless by Jade West. This book just came out 2 weeks ago, and so I bought it. It says it's an enemies to lovers, and it's actually going to be the start of a series. Jade West, I feel doesn't really have series. I think she has one, but usually they're standalones. Usually her books have a lot of kink in them that's very emotional. Oh, so beautiful. Her books always get to me. Some of her books have had some of the filthiest scenes I've read in them mixed with some of the most heartbreaking stories that I've read, and it's fabulous. So I don't know any more about this book. I don't. She has earned one-click status for me. I don't look into it any more than that. When I see a new book is out, I buy it, and then I'll read it and see what it's about. So picked that one up. I picked up Unteachable by Leah Reader. I believe this is a student-teacher romance. I don't know any more about that. I got it off of, so a couple of these now that I'm going to show you, they are from the site Reader IQ that Izzy told me about, e-Reader IQ. So their books, I grabbed a lot of books that are under $2, and so I don't necessarily know what they're about, but I bought them, so I bought that. I bought Knotted by Pam Godwin. This is the first book in her Trails of Sin, and I read this book 2 years ago, and I hadn't read anything else by Pam Godwin yet, and so this book was just jarring to me because it begins with a sexual assault, a horrifying assault. They all are, but this one is it's this young couple, and they're about to have sex for the first time, and they get a little kinky. Okay, they're cowboys. They get a little kinky, and so he ties her up because they're gonna do it, and then 2 rapists attack them, and they beat him up and tie him up, and then they rape her in front of him. And so after this event happens, they break up and she moves away, and a lot of it is he just can't look at her anymore and not feel so guilty that he literally tied her up for these men to do it. And of course, that is not his fault at all. You should be able to engage in safe kink practices whenever you want and not be assaulted by someone, but it was just too much for their relationship. And so I really want to give it a try again, and I forgot about it until I was going through her backlist because I was I need to read more Pam Godwin because 2 of my favorite books ever are by her. And so I was oh, that's right, and this one's free. So I picked it up, and I'm going to try reading it again. I don't even think I finished it. I only got about 40% in, and I was I can't, it's too much, but I'm a stronger person now. Then I have Some Sort of Happy by Melanie Harlow. I just read Some Sort of Crazy for my Kindle Clear Out Readathon because I think that might be the second book in the series. And then again, Melanie Harlow is another one of the authors that I follow her, and she's an Instabuy author, and she does have a backlist that I haven't read, but because I'm one of her followers, and part of her email thing, she sends out like every other week or once a month a book of hers that is free to purchase. Granted, most of her books are all in Kindle Unlimited. It's fine, but I like to own them. So I want to read this one soon too, because Some Sort of Crazy was really fun. Let's see. I picked up X's and Goals by Heather C. Myers. This was $0. This is a hockey romance, and again, I got this one because of IQ Reader. It was a sports romance and it was free, so I thought I'd grab it. I like sports ministers. I picked up Prime Minister book 1 in the Frisky Beavers by Ainsley Booth and Sadie Holler. So this was a book that I had borrowed because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I know it has to do with like the kinky prime minister of like, I think it's of Canada. And I had started it, and then I just like wasn't quite in the mood because he's like her boss. And I just wasn't in the mood at the moment. But then when I was on IQ Reader, I saw that it was free. So I was like, ooh, well, I'll just buy it and it won't take up one of my Kindle spaces. So we're good. Then I have Between Dawn and Dusk by Jamie Schlosser. So this was also on Reader IQ for $0. It's a prequel to this series, and I guess it's like an arranged marriage fantasy somehow. I'm reading this one for Kindle Clear Out Readathon too, because it's my shortest ebook that I have on, and I had like just purchased it right before this started, but I was like, oh cool, so I'll get to read that soon. So looks fun. Something Real by Wendy Smith. This was also by IQ Reader. I don't even know what this one's about off the top of my head because I can't remember, but it looked cute and it was $0. Same for Wrecked by J.B. Salisbury. This was only 99 cents. So Twisted, Bad Behavior Book 1 by Melissa Marino. This is a bad behavior novel, and this was also 99 cents on the website. Then I have White Whiskey Bargain by Jody Slaughter, and I purchased this one for 2 reasons. One of my friends read it and really liked it. Number 2, I read Jody Slaughter's other book, the one about, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one about the hitman, and it has an African-American woman as the lead, and I loved it, and so I was like, oh, I didn't know she had another book, because I thought that one was her debut. But I don't think it is. I think this one came out first. And it was only 99 cents, so I scooped that up. And then the last one I have to mention is, I've been waiting for this one to like go on sale. This is Firelight by Kristen Callahan. This is book 1, and I think it's a vampire series. But I know it's paranormal and fantasy somehow, and it's by Kristen Callahan, who I really, really like her Game On series, and I'm about to start her VIP series, and I just wanted it, and it was only $1.99, so I grabbed it. So there you go. That's all the books I purchased in August and September on my Kindle. Let me know if you've read any of them, and I'm really excited. I love having a good stock of books on my Kindle just as much as in my house, because when I'm traveling, when I'm in the line somewhere, that's part of one of my tips of like, how do I read so much, is I always have lots of options, and I always have them right at my fingertips. So if I finish a book when I am grocery shopping, I can, while I'm in line, pick up my phone and get the next one going. And I just always love to have that option available to me, and it keeps me from getting into a reading slump, because if I never stop reading, I never go into a slump, and it's awesome. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching this. I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week. You can check me out in the links down below. I have so much good stuff down there. I have my Amazon storefront. I have my links to the romance Discord and my own Discord, so make sure you check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.